American Soccer League Championship, Soccer Bowl 80. Live from Washington, D.C., the New York Cosmos versus the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by ComSat, answering the need for better international communications, where you're linked to the world via satellite. By the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by the full line of 1980 Volkswagen. Volkswagen does it again.
A crowd expected to grow to 50,000 is gathering in Robert F. Kennedy Stadium in Washington for Soccer Bowl 80. As New York battles Fort Lauderdale, millions more will be watching the game live on television in such places as Holland, Peru, West Germany, and Mexico, in addition to the United States. Soccer Bowl now draws international notice wherever the game is played. From New York and Florida, thousands have come by plane, train, and highway to cheer for their teams. Just as impressive is the tremendous turnout by the people of Washington, whose team didn't make it to the championship game this time. Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay, reporting from RFK Stadium, and this should be quite a ball game because these teams are no strangers to each other. In fact, New York against Fort Lauderdale is one of the first traditional rivalries in this still quite new North American Soccer League. In fact, the first crowd of over 70,000 was when they met in the playoffs a few years ago. The biggest crowd in the league this year, more than 70,000 attended the game when Fort Lauderdale visited New York. And today it looks like they may sell out over 50,000 here in RFK Stadium. There's a difference between the teams, however. For the Cosmos, the mighty team of the North American Soccer League, this is their fourth trip to the championship game, and they've won every one of the 3 previous trips. Fort Lauderdale has never been in the Soccer Bowl before. It should be, then, a great matchup. Now, down on the sidelines is the man we've already discussed, the man of the moment, at least before the game begins, Giorgio Canaglia, and he's with our man, Vern Lundquist. Vern?
Apprehensive, a little nervous about this game.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough game, and I think the Cosmos and the Strikers are a bit nervous about this game because it can go either way. You know, we have 2 great teams on the field today, excellent soccer players, world-class players, and anybody can win the game.
You will be marked by Ken Fogarty, probably. Has he done well against you before?
Oh, he's always done extremely well against me. He's always marked me very, very well. I hope today he doesn't, but, you know.
Have you ever gone through a streak like you've gone through in the playoffs before?
No, not really, but I hope it doesn't stop, you know. We've got one more goal to reach, and that is today. And we want to give this to the Cosmos fans.
Giorgio, you've given us all so many thrills this year. Best of luck to you this afternoon, you and the Cosmos. Giorgio Canaglia, 16 goals in 6 games in the playoffs, including 7 in 1 game. It has been a phenomenal performance. We look forward to watching him this afternoon. It'll be the Cosmos of New York representing the National Conference, the Fort Lauderdale Strikers representing the American Conference. Jim McKay and Paul Gardner will be right back.
Back again live at RFK Stadium where the temperature is 84 degrees, but the humidity is 75%. It's a typical sweltering Washington summer day. Here's our expert on the sport from a cooler climate originally, Paul Gardner. How do you view this game today, Paul?
Well, first of all, few on account of the weather here. But
yeah.
Secondly, I think we've got to talk about goals. We've got to talk about, we've already talked about one of the people who puts them in. Let's have a look at Fort Lauderdale, one of the people whose job it is to stop them going in. Jim, I can't overemphasize the importance of a good goalkeeper, particularly in a big match like this. And of course, we're talking about good goalkeepers. The Fort Lauderdale Strikers have a great one in Dutchman Jan van Beveren. He just radiates confidence. He's the sort of goalkeeper the players are going to think, well, even if he beats me, the defenders, they've still got to get the ball past Jan van Beveren. He had a great game against the Cosmos earlier in the season. This is it. Look at that stretch, gets the ball away for a corner safely. And even when Giorgio Canaglia gets clean through, point-blank shot, and it's knocked down safely again by Jan van Beveren. And on this sort of thing, look at his distribution after the save. A difficult save, he scoops up across, but immediately he springs to his feet, spots a player in the open, and away goes the ball. He's a commanding, athletic, and very inspiring figure in goal there.
They are not without attack, however.
No, of course they can score goals. Fort Lauderdale have always been an attacking team. In fact, earlier in this season, they scored 4 against the Cosmos, and 3 of them came from their midfielder, a marvelous attacking midfielder, Teofilo Nene Cubillas. He's a Peruvian, and he has that marvelous soft touch, wonderful touch with the ball that South American players have. But he's not a soft player. Now just look at this, again against the Cosmos, overcomes the ball, controlled, but look at the muscle. Escandarian is almost swatted aside there, and in goes the ball. And at the end of this, we get another little South American touch, a lovely Pelé-type leap. So he's a goal scorer, but he's also a very clever, he's a scheming midfielder. He can create goals as well.
All right, how about the mighty Cosmos, not only of New York, but we should add that their home is in New Jersey.
Well, the New Jersey York Cosmos. Let's have a look at their goalkeeper again, because much of what I said about Van Beveren certainly applies to Birkenmeyer. He's had a spectacular playoff series so far. In fact, I can even make out of the case that one very important game, the playoff game against Dallas, he kept them in that game, and you could say he won it with saves like this. The tornado were whirling, or whatever it is tornadoes do, around his goal there, and he was just batting these shots away like that, keeping them in the game there.
Okay, a brief look at some of the prospective stars of these two teams. But we also have an attacker on New York.
Well, we must take a look at Canale. I mean, we have talked about him a lot, of course, but there's still a lot to say about him. I mean, he's just having an absolutely incredible series. And the thing about Canale is that whatever you do with him, please, please, please don't give him even a centimeter of space in the penalty area. And if you do, then for God's sake, keep the ball away from him. Because if he gets it there, he's going to kill you. And he knows so many ways to do it. More ways, I think, than any other centre forward in this league. You can see him do it from close in. Look at this. A cross comes over. He gets past everybody. There's Giorgio with his left foot from close in. A marvellous run here from Van der Elst. The ball comes across again. There's Giorgio with his right foot. First time past the goalkeeper. And having disposed of 2 goals with his feet, let's see what he can do with his head. Another cross. That might have been a goal for his feet, but he played it with his head. So that's Giorgio, 16 goals in 6 games in the playoffs so far, which is something like, if my mathematics is correct, 2 2/3 goals per game. Incredible.
Not bad. Okay, the crowd continue to file into RFK Stadium. In a minute, we'll be back with the starting lineups for Fort Lauderdale and New York in Soccer Bowl 80 in the nation's capital. Let's check the starting lineups now. First, the team coached by the hard-driving, hard-living Dutchman Cor van der Hart, who, despite travail and controversy, has brought his team to Soccer Bowl in his first season as coach. Now, in the goal, Jan van Beveren, the tall, handsome Dutchman, the best goalie in the playoffs so far. On defense, Tibor Jameri, a Canadian, a conscientious, dependable workman. John Pott is durable, physical, and a non-stop stopper for Fort Lauderdale. Ken Fogarty has successfully marked Canale before, but today plays with an injured ankle. Arseno Gust is a veteran in his 4th Soccer Bowl, captain of the Haitian national team. Colin Fowles in midfield is an American, one of the fastest men on the field today. Captain Ray Hudson is a real team leader, a major scoring threat. Lex Schoenmacher sometimes looks clumsy, but he gets the job done and can score. And Nene Cubillas, the Peruvian Pelé, rounds out that high-scoring midfield. Gerd Miller, he of the tree-trunk legs and the beard, is a deadly, dangerous goal scorer. And Jeff Cacciatore, an American at 5'2", is the smallest player in the league. Hennes Weisweiler, in his first year, has changed the New York Cosmos from a collection of all-stars into a team. Hubert Birkenmeyer, a German, has blossomed in the goal this year, saved the Cosmos in at least 1 playoff game. Eskandarian, they call him Eski, a strong right defender. Jeff Durgan of Tacoma, Washington, is the league's Rookie of the Year at age 19. Franz Beckenbauer is a surprise defenseman today, back at his old sweeper position. Wim Reisbergen is the rock-hard physical policeman of the Cosmos. In midfield, Julio Cesar Romero of Paraguay, a scoring star in his first American season. Bogicevic, the precise engineer of the midfield machine. And Angelo DiBernardo of Indiana University, a revelation with his play this year. Up front, Francois van der Elst is a star of the Belgian national team and a fleet right winger. Giorgio Canale is the league's all-time scoring leader and one of the world's great players. And Roberto Cabañas is a 19-year-old Paraguayan with all the vigor of youth at left wing. These, then, are the teams. We'll be back in a minute with the start of the ball game. So, Soccer Bowl 80 will continue after station identification. We're ready for Soccer Bowl 80. We're live from RFK Stadium in Washington. There's Van Beveren, the great goalie, who came in mid-season to the Fort Lauderdale Strikers from his native Holland. He's a tremendous goalkeeper, and so is Hubert Birkenmeyer in the goal for the New York Cosmos. You see the goals against average. He had 9 shutouts during the regular season. And there at midfield, there are Bogey and Canale and referee Paul Avis. And what a job he has in front of him today.
I think, Jim, we should mention straight away there are some surprises in this lineup here. The fact that Carlos Oberto is not playing in his regular position of sweeper. He's moved. Coach Weisweiler has moved Beckenbauer back there in place of Carlos Oberto. Now, this is a surprise. I think the reason is he wants Beckenbauer. There's Carlos Oberto sitting on the bench, maybe not too happy, but I think the reason is Weisweiler does not want Beckenbauer and Bogicevic playing together in midfield. He thinks they're too slow. He's moved Beckenbauer back to the sweeper.
Okay, the opening feeling out process underway. This is non-stop action. If you're not a soccer fan, there are no team timeouts at all. 45-minute halves. And we'll go to a conclusion. Sudden death and a shootout if necessary. Okay, now the Fort Lauderdale Strikers in the red and yellow are moving from right to left. As you see, that's Nene Kobias, number 10, their star midfielder. The Cosmos, all in white, will be going from left to right. So that's the situation. A hot, steaming, humid day. Temperature apparently headed for 90 degrees. The humidity already at 75%. Number 25, that's Jeff Durgan, the rookie of the year for the Cosmos, to Ricebergen, the tough left defender. A long, sudden pass downfield. That was for DiBernardo, but it didn't get there. On the right, we have Van der Elst, but it is kicked away by Arsène Auguste.
Kicked well away, too. He deposited that about 5 rows deep in the stand. He's going to take no chances with Van der Elst at all. Van der Elst very fast, very tricky. Once he's past you, your chances of catching up with him are practically zero.
Great star in his native Belgium, came to the Cosmos in the middle of this season. The field temperature, we're now told, is 97 degrees. Humidity at least 75%. It's going to be tough down there.
I have a feeling it's always 97 on the field in Washington. It is whenever we do a game.
There's Van der Elst getting it into the middle, but kicked away. And very nicely by Colin Fowles. And the Strikers fighting for possession. Get it. Tibor Jameri. Now the Cosmos stealing the ball again. Look out, this could turn into something, but they're going to set up. There's Bogey with the ball. That's his job to set things up. Intercepted, however, by Kobias. Ricebergen now for the Cosmos. In towards DiBernardo, towards Canaglia. Look out. And safely kicked away.
Safely kicked away by the man we're calling the smallest man on the field, and he is indeed by far Cacciatore. No business to be back there defending at all, Jim, but he made a marvelous play there.
At 5 feet 2 inches tall. There is Giorgio. Dangerous every second of the game. Most dangerous, some think, when he looks like he's loafing.
Absolutely, and of course the same thing applies to Gert Miller at the other end of the field, although all the Fort Lauderdale players, including Cacciatore and Miller, are in the penalty area.
Okay, into the side of the net after that corner kick. Remember, again, if you're new to the game, when the defensive team puts the ball over the end line, it's a corner kick for the other team. We'll be back. We're back again live at RFK Stadium, Washington, D.C. No score in the opening minutes of Soccer Bowl 80. The Fort Lauderdale Strikers against the Cosmos of New York. The Cosmos in white, Fort Lauderdale in red and yellow jerseys and the black pants. Fort Lauderdale with the ball, moving from right to left. Their midfield extremely dangerous. There's Kobias, number 10, getting it in, but not safely that time.
Well, we've seen 2 of those crunching tackles from Ricebergen on Hudson so far, getting the ball away both times.
Here's Angelo DiBernardo on the ball for the Cosmos, but it's over the sideline. Let's see if they say Auguste or DiBernardo touched it last. It's going to be a throw-in.
I had a feeling they were going to call a foul on Auguste. He seemed to knock the player down before he got to the ball, and that's exactly what it is. An embrace for the referee from Auguste.
A little mock affection for the referee. He didn't like the call, so it is, in fact, a free kick for the Cosmos. Van der Elst putting the ball in play towards the middle, towards Canaglia, but headed away and kicked away nicely by Pot that time.
Interesting point there, Jim, was that all the heads went up, and the man who headed it was Cabañas, this little left winger. Now, he is very, very dangerous indeed in the air. He doesn't look as though he would be because he's not tall, but he really climbs for the ball.
DiBernardo with the ball. Kicked it right into a Fort Lauderdale defender that time. But again, the Cosmos get it. They've had the authority so far in the ball game. We're still in the opening 5 minutes of the first half, which will be 45 minutes in length. It's going to be a free kick for Fort Lauderdale on this occasion.
It's a free kick as a result of a rather unusual happening. Bogey really plowed into Hudson. You'll see Bogicevic plow into the back there. Look at that. Oh. And that is rather unusual for Bogicevic to put himself about like that. It's a nasty foul, and Bogicevic doesn't usually do that.
No yellow card, however, just a free kick for Fort Lauderdale this time. Next time, maybe something else, should it happen. There's John Pott, number 3, moving the ball over now. Kobias. Kobias, number 10. As we said, they call him the Peruvian Pele, the magician of midfield, whatever you want. He's a great player and a great scorer. And we would repeat again that the midfield is where most of the scoring for Fort Lauderdale is generated.
That's true, Jim. And the other surprise I didn't mention is that we will see no Francisco Mourinho in the midfield for Fort Lauderdale this afternoon. Apparently, well, nothing happening there. Apparently what happened was that he was told at a team meeting this morning that he would not start, that he would be on the bench. He told the coach in no uncertain terms he was not going to sit on the bench, and the coach said, all right, you are not going to sit on the bench. And, of course, he's sitting in the stands instead, so we won't see anything of Mourinho this afternoon.
It would have been very dramatic. Mourinho, a former Cosmo, was let go by them after the last season and went to Fort Lauderdale, but we'll not be seeing it. There's Franz Beckenbauer with the ball, number 6, one of the great all-time players, returning to his native West Germany next season, so this should be his last official game of the Cosmos. There, a shot up and over by Julio Cesar Romero, Little Caesar. of the Cosmos. It's still a scoreless ball game with 38:45 to go. Again, we return to the live action in Soccer Bowl 80. No score. We're in the first half with 38 minutes remaining. Fort Lauderdale in the red and yellow. On the move. A good move. There's Ray Hudson with a shot.
Well, a fine move there from Fort Lauderdale. The first real clear shot of the game. And again, you see how dangerous Gert Miller with one flick can be. He's standing there absolutely immovable. Flicks the ball to his side for a shot for Ray Hudson.
Again, here come the Cosmos. They've threatened but have not scored so far. Beckenbauer with the ball. World Cup stars on both teams here. Here they come. That's Weisbergen getting it into Eskandarian, the defender, overlapping this time. He's got Van der Elst on the side. DiBernardo here now. Now Van der Elst. In the middle, of course, is the inevitable, the inescapable Canalia, just waiting for that ball. Being marked closely, though, by Ken Fogarty. Now Fort Lauderdale takes over. Quick word from Vern on the sidelines.
Thank you, Jim. I'm standing here with Francisco Mourinho. You mentioned world-class stars who are on the field. There's some that are not. Francisco, why are you not playing?
I don't know. I don't understand the coach the striker. Striker never come to SoccerBowl. This year's come to SoccerBowl. I don't play every game because my operation 3 months ago. Yeah, my shoulder. But now my condition physical 100%. Ele tell me that I love very much Cosmo. Maybe today me not play for team. Maybe today me not play very well. I tell him, you're crazy, huh?
So you had an argument with him.
I tell him, you're very crazy because I want.
Okay, Vern, I'm going to interrupt you here.
Okay, Jim.
We're going to have a corner kick. Thank you very much to Mourinho also. A corner kick for Fort Lauderdale, their first of the game. No score, 36 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the half. Here are the red and yellow clad strikers on the move. But a bad pass, and the Cosmos take over. Now with the ball, Roberto Cabañas. Look at him go at age 19. What a career he has in front of him. But this time, the impetuosity of youth lost the ball for him, perhaps.
I think he was trying to push it through to Canalia, but again, obviously the defenders are super conscious of Canalia, and there were two of them going for that ball. One of them got there before Canalia.
You had to look at Arsène Auguste, as we said, captain of the Haitian national team. And again, we would say there are so many world stars on this field, we probably won't get to mention all of them before the game is over. Former World Cup stars and captains, people like Beckenbauer and Van der Elst and Canalia, and on the other side, Cubillas, and a lot of other ones. All right, now, the battle of midfield. Many people say that's where games are decided. Not always, but very often. Here they come. Schoenmaker still with the ball, going all the way. There's a shot up and over.
Oh, some bad mistakes in the Cosmos defense there, letting Schoenmaker go all the way through.
Nothing.
A message.
Back again at RFK Stadium, still no score. The Cosmos and the Fort Lauderdale Strikers for the championship of the North American Soccer League. Hot and humid if you've just joined us. 97 degrees on the field, 75% humidity, and it's the humidity that's really going to drain these ball players today. But Fort Lauderdale certainly used to it on their home field.
Yeah, they should be used to the heat. That's true. I don't think this is going to affect one team more either way, though. I just wanted to comment on that previous play where Schoenmaker got free. I think there may be a little bit too much demand here this afternoon for man-to-man marking, and that's what happened there, because nobody picked Schoenmaker up. He ran through from the deep position. The people who were marking the other players, DiBernardo moved left with Cacciatore, Durgan stayed still, and nobody moved to him, and he went through and had a clear shot on his own.
Okay, Fort Lauderdale with the ball now. By the way, this field is real grass. No artificial turf here, and it's a magnificent playing surface. It's a special kind of grass. It's got gravel underneath for quick drainage, and almost no crown in the middle, which for soccer is very important. So, under the beating sun, sweltering humidity of Washington, here come the Cosmos in white. Franz Beckenbauer with the ball, cutting his hair a little shorter this year. Down to DiBernardo. A nice pass by DiBernardo, but there it's kicked over the sidelines by Bogey.
An extraordinary pass from Bogey, and Bogey has a habit of doing that. He was alone in the middle there. He got free. He got enough space that a player of his quality needs to take a shot, but it just seems that he will not take these shots. He prefers to pass it. And on top of all that wasn't a very good pass.
Cosmos marking Fort Lauderdale very closely in their own end of the field, kind of like an all-court press.
There is,
press in basketball.
And Fort Lauderdale are up into Gert Miller, indeed, who's supposed to be Jeff Durgan's responsibility. He's standing right next to him now, further up the field, but he's been dropping very deep, leaving Jeff Durgan wandering around on his own back there.
Okay, Ken Fogarty trying to get something started to Schoenmaker, who had that almost unmolested shot. He's going to try it again, it looks like. Schoenmaker getting it in, however, to Miller.
Miller offside this time.
No. Yes, yep.
But again,
offside call.
A little bit of danger there from Schoenmaker, as you said, again being allowed to advance more or less unmolested there. They'll have to tighten up on him. I'm trying to work out exactly who should be picking Schoenmaker up. I think it might be Romero.
Little Cacciatore with the ball, all 5 feet 2 of him. To Gerd Muller, the dangerous striker. Back to little Jeff. Cacciatore moving endlessly to Ray Hudson, the captain of the ball club. And it's still in play.
I think we may be getting an indirect free kick inside the penalty area there, and Reisbergen will get himself a yellow card if he does that again. Ray Hudson clearly obstructed. He pushed the ball past the defenders, and Di Bernardo turned his back on him and obstructed to him.
Okay, here's a look at it.
You'll see the ball goes through. Di Bernardo turns his back and obviously obstructing. Now it's well inside the area. It's 2 yards inside the area, and the referee has put the ball down about 6 inches outside the area. Not that it makes that much difference. It's an indirect free kick.
Right. It would not have been a penalty kick. There's Schoenmaker again. Very active today. The tall, as we said, sometimes awkward-looking midfielder,
He's
but
very gangly.
he does get it done, doesn't he?
He certainly has so far.
Yeah. Here come the Cosmos. That's Bogey. And he's got Van der Elst down here. Canalla roping into the middle. Van der Elst keeps it. Moves it. Trying for Cabanas. Or Romero, I should say. And there's Julio Cesar with the ball. Into the middle again quickly. They're trying to attack the Cosmos. Not to let this game slow down at all.
Both teams trying to play it at full speed. Certainly, speaking to some of the Fort Lauderdale players yesterday, they felt it was absolutely essential that they got off to a fast start and tried to run the Cosmos into the ground. Now look at that. 5'2", a very strong physical challenge from Di Bernardo and Cacciatore, and again he keeps the ball.
What a great year Angelo Di Bernardo has had. The Americans are in fact beginning to come in this league. Now Weisbergen, the Dutchman, a cop on the beat, you might say, keeping the ball. He's got Bogey in the middle along with Canalla this time. And Romero getting it across field, but again over the sideline.
Very poor pass indeed from Romero, because he had plenty of time, and indeed he took time. He looked up and he saw who he wanted, and then he put the ball about 2 yards behind him.
You know, the Cosmos have a lot of youth in that lineup today, with Cabanas at age 19, Durgan at 19, Romero at age 20.
Yeah, we tend maybe to forget that. We talk about the Cosmos as though they're all super experienced, world-class World Cup stars. And of course, there are these young players around. Mind you, one of the bad mistakes we saw earlier on was from Bogicevic, who has
been around a long
older, more experienced players.
Bogicevic, 29 years old, easily. Okay, now Ray Hudson with the ball. Trying to get his team started here to organize something on attack from the midfield. Now down to the 35-yard line to Cacciatore. And the little fellow moves it to Schoenmaker again. Schoenmaker still keeping it unmarked. Look out, there's Muller. But he's a little too far to the right. Birkenmeyer came out. And there it goes over the end line.
I think the Cosmos are screaming at the linesman on this side, because they felt Gerd Muller was about a yard offside. He certainly looked offside to me. If we've got a replay, we'll be able to tell more clearly. But well, Cosmos are very unhappy that he wasn't called offside.
Offside, once again, if you're new to the game, means you did not have at least 2 defenders, and that can include the goalie, between you and the goal line when the ball was passed to you. Not when you received it necessarily, but when it was passed to you.
That's the point, Jim, because when he received it, he was offside. But was he offside when the pass was made?
All right, the corner kick for Fort Lauderdale. There's Muller in there. Not quite.
Well,
Beckenbauer was the man who saved that.
Muller exactly was in there, and he stood there, and nobody is going to get to that ball when Miller stands there. Now, he didn't do the right thing, but the ball was there. He made it be there for him to do something with.
All right, Fort Lauderdale trying to mount an attack again. They've taken the aggressive away from the Cosmos for the moment. There's Cabillas with the ball. Muller is out past the penalty area now, not in his usual spot, deeper in. There's Romero. Almost taken down by Colin Fowles. Boy, these are 2 fast men running with each other right now.
I think Romero pushed the ball too far in front of him and lost it, but it's been picked up again by the Cosmos.
Hennis Weisweiler, who's done a marvelous job, as we said earlier, at welding the Cosmos into a team rather than a collection of all-stars. Okay, there's little Cabanas. And we're going to have a free kick for Fort Lauderdale.
Now, what he's calling there, it must be an elbow or something like that from Cabanas, as Pott came in hard from behind him. Cabanas must have elbowed him.
Yeah, it's a pushing foul. Let's have a look at it.
Watch these elbows. Boom. Well, you can see he did, in fact, take a little preventive action there. He retaliated first, as the saying is. He got the call on him.
Okay, here comes Fort Lauderdale again. Still no score. 27 minutes, 55 seconds to go. A steal by the Cosmos, but back again to the Strikers of Florida.
Look at all the space in front of Pot. Again, you see he's Cabanis' man. Cabanis is after him now. But with all this man-to-man marking, once you get away from your man, you're likely to have clear sailing because nobody else wants to leave his man to pick you up.
Okay, Beckenbauer, the sweeper, cleared that ball that time. He can play just about wherever he wants. Sometimes behind the other defenders. Can sweep the field. I guess that's where the word came from.
Exactly.
Van der Elst, number 20, with the ball. He's got Eskandarian on his right, overlapping from all the way back at right fullback. And that is going Fort Lauderdale is where that's going.
Overlapping crosser.
Some strange way off passes by the Cosmos.
Yes, they've made 2 or 3 really bad sort of lower high school type passes. You didn't expect that. Well, no.
We're going to have a station break coming up here soon. There's Jan van Beveren, goalie of Fort Lauderdale. He said he's had the best average of any goalie in the playoffs. Both of these teams have come a long way through the North American playoff system. 16 teams started in the playoff. Look out for Cacciatore, the little guy. DiBernardo seemed to just lose his concentration for a moment. Let him go.
I think he may not even have seen Cacciatore. He ran in below his field of vision, I think, because as soon as that ball bounced, I was sure Cacciatore was going to get it, and he did, but he made an atrocious cross that nearly went out of play on the other side of the field.
Now the Cosmos in white, coming from left to right. 26 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the first half. No score. DiBernardo with the ball. And the referee in the middle there for a moment is Beckenbauer. DiBernardo from Indiana University, knocked away by Colin Fowles, who is also an American player, maybe the fastest man on the field on either team. Once raced a racehorse. He lost, but not by too much. Okay, there's Captain Ray Hudson, the blonde, number 4. And the little Cacciatore. Gee, he's playing a good game. Look at this pass to Hudson.
I think
Hudson all by himself, however.
Here. And, oh dear. And he's hanging his head. He did the wrong thing, and he knows it.
Being brought to you by ABC. Now, I don't quite understand. Why did I get a station break card? The score, 0-0. New York Cosmos against the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. 24 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in the first half of Soccer Bowl 80.
I think the best chance so far was just before we went away, that run by Hudson. Unfortunately, he took a very weak shot, and Cacciatore had moved into an almost perfect position in the middle of the penalty area, and really the ball should have gone to Cacciatore. And I can't help feeling the way Cacciatore is displaying this sort of confidence on the ball, that might have been a goal. That all-important first goal.
That's right. Kubias with it for Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale in the red and yellow, the Cosmos in white. Fort Lauderdale going from right to left. So you see the save so far. A whistle, and it'll be a free kick for Fort Lauderdale.
It's interesting, isn't it, Jim? There's been DiBernardo is going in very hard on Cacciatore. We keep stressing how small he is, because I guess it is a factor here. But I don't think Cacciatore has been knocked down yet, has he?
That's
incredible balance. Look, you see good solid contact here. Whoop. And in fact, it's DiBernardo, and here he goes down. It's an interesting tussle between these two.
Jeff Cacciatore at 5'2", and there he is after the ball again, after DiBernardo. Now Bogicevic, veteran Yugoslavian midfielder, setting up fairly slowly.
Again, a wonderful pass from Bogi. I mean,
that's the second or third one he's had.
Absolutely nowhere. Straight to the feet of August, who just laps it up and has all the time in the world to think what he's going to do with it afterwards.
23 minutes, 35 seconds left in the first half. That's Kubias with the ball. There's Muller way back in the other end of the field. You'll seldom see him there. Remember, he's the striker. He used to be up in the penalty area.
Yes, it's
I don't know what he's doing. Now he's way back
there because his strengths are... I was once told by a famous French coach that Miller was only like 5'8" tall, but the closer he got to the penalty area, the taller he got. And once he was inside the penalty area, he was about 10 feet tall.
There's the man who's marking him, Jeff Durgan, age 19, an American, the Rookie of the Year in the North American Soccer League. Here we are.
Well, this is Bogi having his... I would have thought having his shirt pulled, but in fact the ball goes to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, Fort Lauderdale with the ball then. Keyboard Mary got it in the middle. Fogarty now with the ball. Remember, he's marking Canaglia today. He's got a big job.
He's not marking him too tightly at the moment, is he? They seem to... Maybe they've decided that... Of course, that is a danger. If you start thinking Canaglia is a superhuman player, Cosmos were really out-fouling the strikers so far. If you start thinking Canale is a superhuman player and reorganizing your defense to cope with one man, you may upset what has been a successful defense all season.
Well, that's what the goalie Van Beveren told us yesterday in the locker room. Remember, he said, we cannot change our play for one man. We got to play our own game, and if he scores, he does. All right, here's Van der Elst, number 20, with the ball. He's got Kanaya very close to him. The pass to Kanaya could be the give and go. Kanaya playing with the ball now. Trying to make a little space there for somebody else. And over the end line, and it'll be a goal kick for Fort Lauderdale. Soccer Bowl 80 will continue after station identification. Still no score. 21 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the first half of Soccer Bowl 80. The temperature well into the 90s on the playing field. Humidity 75%. Cosmos against Fort Lauderdale. The strikers with the ball in the red and yellow. They have dominated the attack for a good many minutes now, really. Each time the Cosmos have gotten the ball, a bad pass. Yeah, almost every time has lost it for them. Okay, here they come. That's Lex Schoenmacher, the big midfielder again. We still have the strange spectacle of Gerd Muller, the striker in midfield, there at the bottom of your screen. Why he's playing so far back is difficult to figure out. There's Kanalya. Sometimes that's all he needs. Watch out for Giorgio. And to Cabañas, who muffed the shot, really. And up and over by Van der Elst. That'll be a goal kick. It's 0-0 in Washington. All right. Just over 20 minutes still remaining in the first half. A goal kick for Fort Lauderdale, and there is Van Beveren. He's already something of a local hero down in Florida there. They said he wasn't sure he wanted to come play in America. They talked him into coming over for a week, and he checked out the beach and the sun and said, I think maybe he'll come.
Well, one of the ironic things about it is that another North American... Look at Cacciatore taking the ball away from Escondero.
Yeah.
Or was that? No, it was Di Bernardo. One of the ironic things about Van Beveren was that apparently he had discussions with the Cosmos. And obviously would have liked to go to the Cosmos, but I think they only offered him a one-year contract. He decided that if he was going to make the move, he wanted something more permanent.
And of course, the Cosmos are very happy right now with Hubert Birkenmeier, who's gotten better and better all this season. Now, Fort Lauderdale again on the attack. No score, but they are the aggressors at the moment. Hudson getting it in toward Kubias, but well, Beckenbauer is there.
Beckenbauer better be there, because that's the sort of goal that Kubias can score, running through the middle like that. The ball comes to him awkwardly. It's bound to, but he'll control it, and he's in on goal before you can lift an eyelid.
But like all great sweepers, a position he almost invented, Beckenbauer, he is almost always there.
Exactly. The ball seems to come to him.
Reisbergen went down. Could have been a little holding there.
A little bit of kneeing,
other things
too. Yes. Well, that'll be a free kick for the Cosmos, and this is really the first example we've seen of a free kick in a dangerous position. It's a very mundane sort of foul, this. You can see this. Kneeing, tripping, holding, pushing, elbowing, a whole selection there.
You name it, he did it. Okay, we have Kanalya and Bogey right by the ball. It is Giorgio going at that wall, and it's much too high, over and up into the stands. No score in Soccer Bowl 80. We'll be right back. Of Romero, getting it across to Angelo Di Bernardo, the American from Indiana University. Back over to Romero. A lead pass for Cabañas, not quite. Back out again, the header into the penalty area by Romero. Back out. Escondarian now, getting it over to Van der Elst. The Cosmo really mounting an attack this time. And Cabañas goes down in the penalty area. A little play acting there, I should say.
The Fort Lauderdale defense living very dangerously there, but again, you saw what a sort of inventive goalkeeper Van Beveren is. He had to come out for that ball, and God knows what he was going to do with it, but he punched it and he scooped it up in the area, which gave him the time, and his defenders the time to regroup themselves, the necessary 5 or 6 seconds.
Now remember, if you're new to the game, that any of the more serious fouls is committed in the penalty area gives a penalty kick to the attacking team, and about 80% of the time that results in a goal. Curling corner kick, a beautiful one.
Once again, it's Van Beveren. That was what we call a near-post corner kick, deliberately kicked to the post nearest to the kicker, flicked over his head backwards by Di Bernardo, and that causes problems, and Van Beveren solved them by, again, punching the ball clear for another corner kick on the other side.
Well, we've talked about Bogey's bad passes, but you give him credit for that corner kick. It was a nice one.
Right this time, Di Bernardo.
This time it's going to be Romero taking it. Look at that crowd. Fine turnout here in Washington. Oh. No control of the ball yet. Corner kick. Headed away by Colin Powell. Beckenbauer now. And Jeff Durgan overlapping, the young defender. Coming across field, but it's kicked away by Gerd Muller.
It's Gerd Muller.
Back on defense. What he's doing, but
Well, of course, everybody. It seems that whenever there's any real pressure on the Fort Lauderdale goal, like corner kicks, everybody, Gert Muller included.
Yeah,
what does all this mean? Is back in the penalty area.
Muller, the striker for Fort Lauderdale, limping very badly. I wonder if that's why he's been playing back, if he's been hurting. And that's going to be a free kick for Cosmos again.
So I think Colin fouls in very hard there, and another free kick in same position on the other side of the field this time, about, what would you say, 22 yards out.
Yeah.
This is the same one that Canale blasted over the bar. Let's see what he can do with this one.
When all else fails, you might say Colin foul, like everybody else. Now we have the wall set up for Fort Lauderdale. Over to Kanaya. Off the wall, back to Bogey. Kanaya moving into his accustomed position in the middle, kicked away by Cubillas. Escandarian now, overlapping Lou Cacciatore, almost stole it, but it's Di Bernardo moving it toward Kanaya, but it's the goalkeeper Hunbavern easily bringing it down.
Well, that's that little play there. I mean, Escandarian made a momentary lapse in controlling the ball there. It bounced away from him, and Cacciatore's foot was on it immediately. Escandarian got it back, rather by luck. But you like a little fly buzzing around you, Cacciatore. You just can't fall asleep for a second with him around you.
Okay, here comes Fort Lauderdale with 14 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the half. Ray Hudson. It's a scoreless game so far in SoccerBowl 80. Ray Hudson getting it to Schoenmacher. And we have Cacciatore in the striker position. Muller having a major problem right now. And that is not good news for Fort Lauderdale. In fact, Muller has been way down at the end line off the playing surface for the last minute or so. And now he's coming back onto the field to see if he can make it.
Seems to be running a bit more smoothly than he was. Mind you, of course, Gert Muller is never the smoothest of runners. He doesn't move with any elegance at all.
And here's Canaglia playing way out from the penalty area, getting it back towards Di Bernardo, but it is Fogarty, the man who is marking Canaglia,
now
who took the ball away.
There's a bad sign. Cubillas with all the room in the world in midfield. That can't be right.
Okay, now Hudson back to Cubillas. This is their great combination. Number 4 and number 10, Cubillas and Hudson. Getting it into little Cacciatore. He's got a shot. Up and over. Too high for Jeff Cacciatore. The goal is about 3 feet higher than he is. The score, 0-0. Still no score at RFK Stadium in Washington. A near capacity crowd here. No official attendance. We won't get that until the second half. There are a few empty seats still, but not too many. And remember that the home team isn't even in the ball game. Teams from New York and Florida playing it out in the nation's capital. Dr. Henry Kissinger is here today. George Bush is here. People from all over the world. In the world of soccer, a shot by Romero. Kicked away now.
The same problem this end. Cubillas and Schoenmacher finding room at the other end. Romero suddenly finding himself all alone on the edge of the penalty arc there.
Now Beckenbauer moving in again, setting it up. And that could be dangerous territory. Right there, it still is. Bogey went in for a shot, but Busk was there to meet us. Excuse me, was fouled. Now it's Cubillas with the ball for Fort Lauderdale. Watch him control it. Not that time. Okay, there's Bogey again, taking a shot, a rare thing for him. It wasn't too far over the goal. Still no score. 12 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first half. Injury time has been taken out here at SoccerBowl 80. That's Tibor Jameri, the right defender for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, down on the field. Doesn't appear to be too serious. That's the only time the clock stops in soccer. And there is Muller down on the field, being with sides.
Being treated.
A couple of substitutes have been on their feet on the sidelines. Koos Vaslander, number 22, and Rick Wiegand, number 21, but nobody has come in. There's Vanderhart, the coach. Remember now, if a man leaves this game, he cannot come back in. Only 3 substitutes are allowed for each side. When you're out, you're out.
We should also point out, Jim, that in the case of Tibor Jameri, now Jameri is a North American citizen, a Canadian citizen. The league regulations state you must have 3 citizens on the field at all time. If Jameri goes on, the Fort Lauderdale cannot bring on one of the foreign players on the bench. They've got to bring on one of the Americans, and all they've got on the bench are really rather inexperienced Americans. So that could be a serious problem for Fort Lauderdale if one of their citizens is injured.
They've got Ortiz Delez. They've got Rick Wiegand. That's about it.
And the goalie teaches. So, I mean, they've only got 2 players to choose from for field players, and neither of them has any experience at all, obviously.
Still no score in the game. 12 minutes remaining in the first half. The Cosmos now with the ball in the white. That's Cabañas, the 19-year-old left winger. Vern, do you have something on Gerd Miller?
Yes, Jim. He pulled a thigh muscle in practice on Tuesday, and what has happened this afternoon, he's re-injured the same muscle. They don't think it's going to be serious. They think he will be able to go the duration of the game.
Is that why he's been playing way back at midfield instead of striker position, or didn't they say?
No, they didn't say that. I didn't ask Cor Vanderhart. I was talking with the trainers.
Sure.
I'll check with him and find out about that.
Okay, thanks. Vern Lundquist on the sideline, and a free kick for Cosmos. This is Bogicevic taking. He's got 5 men in the middle. Off the wall, over the end line. Looks like a corner kick from here.
He'll get a corner kick instead. Now, usually Romero takes them on the right rather than Bogey. But
he was there, right?
No, they changed. Bogey has decided he will let Romero take it. There goes the corner flag.
Right in the penalty area, Canario, of course, in the penalty area, and Cabanas and Di Bernardo, even Bogey.
Determined to have that corner flag standing upright.
Van der Elst is in there, too. Even Durgan is moved into the penalty area. Here comes almost a ground ball that time, and it's kicked away by Fogarty.
Yeah, well, there you see one of the problems of moving everybody back on defense. You play the ball out, and there's absolutely nobody there to receive it. So Beckenbauer has about half an hour to decide what to do with this ball.
The one thing that has been established is that the Cosmos did not come out and run away with this ball game in the opening minutes. There was some fear of that. It hasn't happened. Reisbergen now into the penalty area, back out again, and that's the kind of thing that sometimes can slip by if the goalie's view is blocked.
Well, I'm not clear what Cabanas was trying to do with that. It was rather a delicate little pass pushed back to him. Now, whether he was trying to side foot the ball into the goal or whether that was supposed to be a lead pass for somebody running through, I really don't know.
Okay, it's a scoreless game for the championship of the North American Soccer League.
Insurance company? Someone just drove into my store. No, it's...
SoccerBowl 80, Jim McKay here with Paul Gardner and Vern Lundquist. And the Fort Lauderdale Strikers in the red and yellow are on the move yet again, but there's no score. Here they come. Colin Fowles now, midfielder. He's looking for somebody with some open space. Can't find it. Back to Fowles again in the penalty area. Left foot kick over the goal. Almost every shot today has been high.
Yep, the goalkeepers really have just had to watch them sail over. I mean, these are good goalkeepers. They don't dive for anything that they know is going wide, even if it's only a foot over. They don't move. They just watch. But again, a little bit of hesitation in the Cosmos defense there, and quick to seize the opportunity. Colin Fowles, a strong left foot shot, but as you say, too high.
Okay, here come the Cosmos again. No score, 9 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Wim Reisbergen, the left defender with the ball. Kenai is all by himself in the middle right now.
Now that, I think, is where a lot of the danger of the Cosmos is coming from that left wing. Cabanas is giving Jamari a very hard time out on the left wing there, and almost every pass that's gone out to him has resulted in danger of some sort.
Gerd Miller still playing up in the midfield for Fort Lauderdale.
Well, of course, there may be a tactical reason for that. By playing up there, he is drawing Durgan out of the middle of the defense. Durgan's having to come up with him.
And he's been making openings for little Cacciatore, for example.
Well, Cacciatore, you'll notice Cacciatore has... Di Bernardo was having problems with Cacciatore, and they've now switched Eskandarian to mark Cacciatore. This is quite an achievement. Oh, dear.
Look out. Okay.
Oh, brilliant bit from Cacciatore. This is quite an achievement for Cacciatore, because Eskandarian is considered the Cosmos' best man-to-man marker, and he's usually put on the guy they consider to be the biggest threat.
He's just about the height of Eddie Arcaro. It's true. By the way, at halftime, should be an interesting halftime. I do mean that. We're going to have Pelé on, for example, and with him, a new friend of his, Sylvester Stallone. They've just made a movie that has some soccer. We'll be talking to both of them. Of course, we'll have the highlight of the first half and usual things. Here we are with Fort Lauderdale still in the attack. The game's slowed down at the moment. Van der Elst with it now for New York. All by himself, a long run. He likes that on the right wing. And he's got Canali in the middle, and it's knocked away by August.
Well tackled by August. August managed to stay with him and get in that desperation slide at the end to push the ball away.
For St. August in his 4th Soccer Bowl. That helps, doesn't it?
He, as a matter of fact, scored the very first goal ever in any Soccer Bowl in, I think, the 1977 final, when he came on as a substitute. With 3 minutes of coming on, he blasted a 25-foot left shot into the roof of the net.
Again, the curling shot to the near post by Bogicevic, knocked away by the goalie Van Beveren. Be another corner kick. There's a good look at Van Beveren. Good-looking man, intense concentration with the two. Again, Bogey. He'll be the one curling it in there. Same idea again. Headed away by Fort Lauderdale. Little Cacciatore. Well, that time he actually lost it. Maybe first time. Di Bernardo
fouled Bogicevic too, but the referee has let play go on the advantage.
Romero with that header. Canaglia just waiting for that moment. Doesn't come this time. Tobias with the ball. 6 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the first half. No score. And now Muller. Let's see how he moves. Not too quickly at all. He just put both hands up. He may have decided he has to call it a day. He put both hands up to his sidelines, to the bench. But here comes Schoenmacher again with the ball from the midfield. Schoenmacher still with. They're playing with 10 men in effect right now. Schoenmacher over to Colin Fowles. Now the boy's got Hudson in the penalty area. Here's Ray Hudson. He's got a shot. He decided to pass it to Cacciatore, and it just went wide.
Well, I think Cacciatore may have had a chance to get to that ball, but Eskandarian, again, marking very tightly, was right on top of him, slid, didn't get the ball, but evidently obstructed, illegally, that is, not a foul, obstructed Cacciatore enough so that he couldn't get a piece of the ball, but a very clear chance for Fort Lauderdale. Probably the clearest chance of the game so far, I would say.
We must emphasize, however, that the loss of Gerd Muller will be a major loss for Fort Lauderdale in this game. Here's DiBernardo with the ball now for the Cosmos. Fighting for the ball, literally, with John Pott, the big burly defender of Fort Lauderdale.
Well, apparently Pott must have played that ball because they've given as we have Miller signaling that he's going off. I don't know who he's talking to, possibly to Franz Beckenbauer there.
And it looks like it'll be Kos Vaslander, another Dutchman, coming into the game. Vaslander, when he came here this year to Fort Lauderdale, was quickly nicknamed by his teammates the Red Ghost. Not because he was invisible, but because he was so pale coming from the rain of Europe to Florida. Well, there he is. He's still kind of pale, the Ghost. He has not been as impressive during the season as they had hoped, quite frankly. See how he can do today, and with a great responsibility now. Another corner kick by Cosmos, brought down beautifully by Van Beveren.
Exactly, Jim. Beautiful bit of goalkeeping there. In the middle of a whole crowd of players, the ball is grasped as though his arms are made of iron, and it's clutched into his chest. There's no way that ball's going to get loose.
So the offensive strategy for Fort Lauderdale must change now. Muller is out of there, their striker, and yet all season long most of their goals have been generated from the midfield. So more of the same, I guess.
Midfield with of course substantial help from the experience of Gerd Muller occupying defenders up front. Now whether Vaslander can do that.
He's playing right in Muller's striker position right now, number 22, who just came into the game. That'll be a goal kick for Cosmos. There's Vaslander, the new man in the game. They only have 2 more substitutes left now. Here come the Cosmos. Fort Lauderdale takes it away. Still Cosmos in control. Quickly to Vern.
Jim, I've got Cor Vanderhart here. Cor, how will the loss of Muller change your offensive strategy?
I'm lucky that I have Vaslander behind Gerd. It was a difficult choice, but I'm glad that I've done it. We know that he wasn't fit at all this week, and now he's out.
You knew that before the game?
Yes.
Okay, good luck to you, Cor. Jim?
All right, here comes the ball into the penalty area. Headed back out. There's Eskandarian for Cosmos. And Vanderels had 2 men on him. Eskandarian again. Trading towards Giorgio. Giorgio has not gotten the ball all day. Ken Fogarty, by the way, Paul, had obviously done a beautiful job of marking Canaglia so far.
Yeah, well, traditionally he's done a good job. And speaking to the captain, Ray Hudson, yesterday, he's a tough little man. You can see that. He's pleased with himself, and he may well be so far. Ken Fogarty said, or rather Ray Hudson said, I hope that Fogarty plays, because with him in there, we really don't have to worry about Canaglia. We think he can take care of him on his own. But if somebody else is there, everybody else's mind is going to be on the problem of Canaglia.
Well, Fogarty, injured ankle and all, is certainly doing a good job so far. Here comes Ray Hudson, the captain of Fort Lauderdale. Still with the ball, all by himself, racing with DiBernardo, who kicks it across the end line. It'll be a corner kick for Fort Lauderdale.
Well, that was one of the times when these lunging tackles from Reisbergen stretching in extremis for the ball. That time it didn't come off. Hudson got past him, and if he'd had a little more speed, he could have beaten DiBernardo to that ball. But DiBernardo, of course, is very fast.
Giorgio, in fact, has had only 2 shots in the first half. Most unusual.
How many total Cosmos shots have there been? Not that many.
No, he's totally was up. There's a shot from way out by Schoenmacher. But to no avail. We now have 2 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the first half of play. No score. Cosmos have had 8 shots, in fact, only in the first half. The heat, no doubt, draining the ball players out there. The temperature close to 100 on the playing field, or the official temperature is just under 90. Humidity, however, officially is 75%. It's really tough to play out there. But these men they really are in incredible condition, perhaps in the best condition of any athletes in the world. They're used to running 90 minutes almost nonstop, about 6 miles every game they run.
Of course, the other thing is we talked earlier on about the possibility of youth being a factor in the sense of inexperience. It can also be a factor in the other direction. They are likely to be the people who can run longest and hardest.
Oops. Giorgio almost got a look that time. Temperature now in the field has dropped. It's cool. It's only 95. Vern tells us from his far from official thermometer.
Refrigerated booze.
Yes. Okay, now Van Beveren ready to put the ball in play for Fort Lauderdale with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Still no score. But somebody's going to win it before the day is over, because if they're tied at the end of regular time, there will be sudden death. And
Jeff Durgan looking, well, I think it was elbows from Vaslander as the two went up for the ball. Durgan, as good fullback should have, positioned himself exactly where the ball was going to drop. Now that means if the forward's going to get to it, he's got to push him out of the way, and Vaslander got an elbow into Durgan's face and did push him out of the way, but illegally.
Okay, Eskandarian moving it over to Jeff Durgan, the big young defender. There is the Rookie of the Year, kicking the ball there from Tacoma, Washington. Now Eskandarian. Beckenbauer, the great sweeper, over to the policeman, Ricebergen. Romero back to Ricebergen and kicked away, and very nicely by John Pott. Here they come again. Beckenbauer getting it in to Romero. Back to Beckenbauer. The give and go almost worked. He still has the ball, does little Romero. Kicks it wide.
I think he lost his sense of direction there. He did so much running about. When he turned to make the shot, he must have thought the goal was way behind him. In fact, it was really 90 degrees to his left.
So, a goal kick for Fort Lauderdale as we look at the wide view of the stadium. There's the goal mouth. And there is the goalie.
Well, the referee has his hands up above his head crossed, which means the clock is stopped, which means, I think, that he has decided that Fort Lauderdale really taking too much time over this goal kick, that they're slowing the game down here, and he doesn't want them to do that.
It started again. Unofficially, there are now 26 seconds left in the first half. Only the referee keeps the official time. So there could be a slight difference. There's Vaslander with the ball.
Well, Vaslander has had 2 touches so far, and it's resulted in 2 fouls on Jeff Durgan.
Clock still running. 14, 13, 12. Looks like the half is going to end with no score. Durgan's still on his knees there.
All right. I think he took another elbow. He'd have a very familiar acquaintance with Vaslander's elbows before this game is out.
Okay, the unofficial clock shows that time is out in the first half, and so it is. The whistle from referee Paul Avitz. At the end of the first half, the score, the New York Cosmos, 0. The Fort Lauderdale Strikers, 0. We'll be back with Pele and Sylvester Stallone, highlights and other things, and of course the second half. So far he's been like a caged bull in this game, has Giorgio Canaglia, the greatest scorer in the history of the North American Soccer League, the man who has scored 16 goals in 6 games in the playoffs so far, who scored 7 goals in 1 playoff game. Today he's had only a couple of shots, being closely marked by a middle-sized man named Ken Fogarty of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. That is one of the major reasons why the score of this Soccer Bowl 80 game so far is 0-0. A very tense battle, and here is an announcement for you. It has not been revealed before that next Saturday's NCAA college game of the week will be Nebraska at Penn State, a really big one, a national game starting at 1:30 Eastern time, and of course that'll be live. NCAA football, Nebraska at Penn State next Saturday. You won't want to miss that one. There's Hennes Weisweiler, the coach of the New York Cosmos, with his assistant Terry Garbutt. Weisweiler came from Germany this year. There's Van der Hart, who came from Holland just this year to coach Fort Lauderdale. Very different types of men. Weisweiler, a real father figure at age 60. Van der Hart, a tough, kind of hard-living guy who had a lot of problems with his relations with his players early in the season. But he made them work together. There is Cubillas, the Peruvian Pele. As we prepare for the second half kickoff, a pulled left quadriceps muscle for Muller is what they tell us. It looked to me like it was his right leg. I think it must be the right. At any rate, here is Fort Lauderdale in the red and yellow, going from left to right. They have reverse fields, of course. The Cosmos in white, Fort Lauderdale in red and yellow. No score, 45 minutes to go, and the league championship on the line. Should it end in a tie, there will be sudden death. And if that ends in a tie, there will be a shootout. But first things first, there's a free kick for Fort Lauderdale. The foul against Bogey here, number 8, Vladislav Bogicevic of the Cosmos. The Fort Lauderdale Strikers, again, we would mention, playing without their star striker, Gerd Muller, because of the injury I just mentioned. In his place, a young man, number 22, called Koos, K-O-O-S, Vaslander, a Dutchman. They call him the Red Ghost, and they like him to do some rather ghostly things this half. There is Ray Hudson, the captain, with the ball. Vaslander is in the middle. In towards Vaslander, and a close one.
Well, I think it was a handball there. It looked almost as though as Vaslander dove for that ball, he got it with his hand.
And the referee indicated so, but let the play go on because that's the so-called advantage rule. Here
yeah, he stuck his hand way over. Well, that's a little bit of sort of gamesmanship.
Here it comes towards Voslander again. He's got a shot. The ball still in the air now. Bogicevic trying to get control with Kobias fighting him for the ball. That could have been the icebreaker.
Well, there we are. Birkenmeier saving the Cosmos again because Voslander completely threw on his own there, and it wasn't a 50-50 ball. It was about 55 for Voslander and 45 for Birkenmeier, but Birkenmeier managed to block the shot and keep it way up in the air, where, of course, once it's in the air, there's time for defenders to get back and cover. A very dangerous situation.
Certainly was. Fort Lauderdale trying now to keep the Cosmos off balance, but it's going to be a throw-in for the Cosmos, and they can get organized here as the second half begins. We have 43 minutes, 15 seconds playing time remaining. Okay, here is Voslander.
The Durgan really not in a good position to get that ball. Voslander threw on his own, kicks the ball. In fact, I'm going to revise my opinion. That was 100% Voslander ball.
Okay, a battle for the ball down at the other end of the field now. And Fort Lauderdale wins that small battle. Here they come, that's Pop. The defender overlapping, running down all the way. He's got Hudson with a little open space there. Hudson still a little bit open. Voslander over in the middle of the penalty area. Little Cacciatore with the ball now.
Exactly, another ball that should have been lost, but Cacciatore reclaimed it.
Now, Colin Powell's moving it over to Schumacher, and now Beckenbauer taking over for New York. Down to Julio Cesar Romero, number 7. 20-year-old scoring star. He can drive that ball to the net. There's Vanderelst with the ball. Giorgio Canaglio, on a rare occasion, has the ball. Down he goes. Arseno Goose took him down, and that's a foul call.
Well, we may take another look at that one because it did look as though Goose played the ball there. We'll see how much of Canaglio he got on that. But again, a free kick in probably the most dangerous position now, just outside the penalty area. And let's take a look here. Vanderelst with the ball. Bounces away. Canaglio gets it. Now you'll see him get it, and he tries to turn here. And as he turns, let's watch how Auguste plays it. Turns, and in comes Auguste's foot.
Yeah.
Well,
from the rear.
I don't know, because he seemed to get the ball first to me, and referees on the whole will let that go if the ball's played.
Just outside the penalty area, and that's important because it's just a free kick, not a penalty kick. Bogey is closest to the ball right now. Canaglio is with him, just behind him. Now Canaglio with the shot into the wall. A shot and a goal by Julio Cesar Romero. At age 20, he scored the first goal of SoccerBowl 80. Van Beveren, disconsolate. And this is what a goal means in soccer. A big celebration because they're so hard to get.
Now there's Van Beveren. Probably very displeased with his defense and probably a bit displeased with himself, but you can see he's the first to say, okay guys, forget it, we're going to get this one back. And that looked as though it was a ball that ought to have been clear, because the original shot of Canaglio's from the free kick just bounced off the wall there, and the defenders in fact did not move quickly enough to clear it. You'll see Canaglio's shot bounces back off the wall there, and there was Van Beveren going one way, and it's Julio Cesar Romero with his left foot this time. And you'll see Van Beveren move to his right as that block shot comes in. He's moving to his right, he's down, the ball's gone, he's struggling to get back to his left, but he's got no chance, and Julio Cesar has put it away with a left foot shot.
An opportunistic shot. It was not a planned play, it just banged off the wall and suddenly was there for him, but he was there.
He was
ready to take advantage.
And he put it in exactly the right place.
All right, 1-0 Cosmos now, and we can expect the pace to pick up.
Now there's a little bit of scuffle going on there between Schoenmaker and Reisbergen. The referee's going to call them together to tell them to stop it.
Just over 41 minutes remaining in the game, 1-0 New York.
But a rather abrupt and handshake there. Looks as though he's trying to pull his arm off.
Officially, the goal came at 47:55 of game time. Romero, the second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Canaglio and Bogicevic. Okay, Fort Lauderdale must get moving. Another goal would just about kill them.
And of course, and they're going to have to expose themselves to goal scoring because they cannot defend as carefully as they've been doing up to now. They've got to start sending a lot of players forward, and the Cosmos have been deadly on counterattacks this season. Absolutely deadly.
Angelo Di Bernardo with the ball now. He's been well marked by little Cacciatore most of the time. Beckenbauer moving it all the way across the field to Vanderelst. Well, there's Vanderelst, excuse me. Vanderelst into the middle, kicked away by Fowles very neatly. Kubias with the ball now. Bogey fighting in for it. Still in play. The whole ball must be over the entire line before it's out of bounds, the opposite of American football. And there, Vanderels getting it to Romero again. Romero moving it to DiBernardo. DiBernardo down towards the end line. And over he goes.
There was a tackle that looked much rougher than the one, in fact, that led to the Cosmos free kick from Pott coming in from behind on DiBernardo.
But this will be a corner kick for the Cosmos. They lead 1-0 now with just under 40 minutes left in Soccer Bowl 80. This is the man who scored the goal, and they're cheering for him down in that corner where some of the 8,000 people who came down from New York are gathered. There is the corner kick, a good one, but it was headed away very nicely, as a matter of fact, by Tibor Jameri. But it's still Cosmos. Jeff Durgan, the defender, lofting it into the middle. It was intended for Cabañas, but Van Beveren was there. Long throw downfield to the open Voslander. He's now marked by Beckenbauer all by himself, and the Cosmos take over.
I think a one-on-one between Voslander and Beckenbauer is likely to end exactly as that did there. But see how quickly Van Beveren took that ball and saw Voslander open way down on the halfway line and got it to him so quickly.
Do you know he threw that ball about 60 yards?
Must have been.
I'd like to see him try a forward pass. Here comes Romero again. And again, it'll be a corner kick for New York. Cosmos have asserted their authority. There is Fogarty. He's been marking Canaglia totally successfully so far. Giorgio gets very frustrated when he doesn't score a goal. That's the 9th corner kick for New York right there. Headed away, but it is Ricebergen. Ricebergen to Vanderels. And Jeff Durgan to Eskandarian. At midfield now, Eskandarian moves it across to DiBernardo. He's got Romero on the near sideline. Decides not to go to him. And there it is, into Cabañas. Look out, that ball was not cleared for a moment.
Well, hesitation between two defenders, obviously one of them leaving it to the other. That was Jameri and Fogarty. Unclear as to who should take it, and Cabañas nearly sneaked in between them. But they've had to give up their third corner in about a minute and a half now.
So with all their experience international stars, it was a 20-year-old who scored the first goal here for the New York Cosmos. Bogicevic now putting the ball in play. Little Cacciatore, 5'2", takes it away. And over the end line, it'll be a goal kick for Fort Lauderdale. The New York Cosmos 1, Fort Lauderdale 0. 38 minutes left. New York 1, Fort Lauderdale 0. Cabañas with the ball for the Cosmos. They're in the white, remember. Romero with a shot that's blocked by Fogarty. He's all over the place. Number 7, Fogarty for Fort Lauderdale, guarding Canaglia and moving out that time to block that shot. Little Cacciatore for Fort Lauderdale. Dubias losing the ball to DiBernardo. Here comes Colin Fowles. He can't get to him. DiBernardo still coming forward. He's got Canaglia in the middle. The ball is lost again to Fogarty. What a game he's playing.
Superb tackle by Fogarty, because he so clearly kept his eye on the ball, knew what the ball was going to do, and ignored the man and went down low and trapped the ball while the man went speeding on past him.
Ken Fogarty, only 25 years old, just 5'8", 157 pounds. Now considers the United States his home, he says, although he's from England. Like many players in the league. There's Ray Hudson, another Englishman, captain of the team, and that one spray. Fogarty playing with a bad ankle, by the way. Here's the goal again. Let's have another look.
This is from the other end of the field where the other goalkeeper might have seen it. Canaglia's shot blocked in the wall, spins loose, and there you can see what Romero does with that. A first-time shot, no messing about after controlling it. Van Beveren on the other foot.
Okay, now with the ball, DiBernardo moving it back to Beckenbauer. Franz has not been in the game as much as I might expect.
Well, he hasn't come forward on attack, which of course is his trademark as a sweep.
Yeah.
But evidently they decided his defensive responsibilities come first in this game.
Okay, Fort Lauderdale takes over, trailing 1-0 with 35 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in regular time. Oh, that was useless.
Yeah, he really made a mess of that.
Here comes DiBernardo again. He's got Vanderels in the middle along with Canaglia and Cabañas on the left wing, moving very much into the middle now with Canaglia and Vanderels. There it is to Cabañas. He's got a shot and it's up and over too high. I don't believe the goalie got a hand on that. I don't think so. High. Soccer Bowl 80 goes on. We're live from Washington. Jim McKay with Paul Gardner and Vern Lundquist. The Cosmos on the attack. They lead 1-0. Romero, the man who scored the goal, moves into the middle to Canaglia. Now back to Romero again. Out to DiBernardo. Over the side of Cabañas, the 19-year-old from Paraguay, the left winger. To DiBernardo, the American. Again to the South American teenager. Cabañas with the ball. In the middle, he's got Bogicevic along with Canaglia. Headed away by Fogarty. They cannot get the ball to Canaglia. The only goal, remember, has been an opportunistic loose ball driven into the net by Romero. Ricky Davis, it appears, will be coming into the game shortly. The American who was the North American Player of the Year in the league last season, but because of the way things have gone this year, he was out part of the time with injury and then could not win back his place in the starting lineup. There he is, Ricky Davis of California, a very appealing young man and a talented player. Coach Weisfowler has said there's nothing wrong with him. He likes his play, but there hasn't been room. Well, looks like he probably will come in for Eskandarian. He can score, too, can Ricky. Eskandarian is not as likely to. Here's Jamari, number 17, with the ball for Fort Lauderdale. The defender moving it towards Ray Hudson. Wiegand, it appears, may come in for Jamari on Fort Lauderdale. We'll wait and see. Somebody just kicked off their shoe. And somebody just caught a bird. But
Jeff Durgan running off with a pigeon in his hand.
Okay. There's Canaglia way up in the penalty area now. Moving it into Romero. Very nice pass. By the way, here comes DiBernardo. He's got a shot. Fine save, but there's another shot and up high. DiBernardo with 2 shots on goal. The first one well saved by Van Beveren, but he was still on the ground when the second shot went.
Lauderdale a little lucky there because Van Beveren, he got to the ball, but of course he didn't control it. It got loose, and DiBernardo was there for the replay. This is Romero's pass in. DiBernardo coming down the middle with nothing in front of him. A low shot and a hard one. Van Beveren down quickly, but you see he doesn't hold the ball. It's there to be put away. DiBernardo puts it over the bar.
Still 1-0 New York. And there's Angelo DiBernardo, the man who had those 2 shots. He's played extremely well this game, as he has all season long. He came to the Cosmos in a trade with Los Angeles in the offseason, in which, quite frankly, the key man was supposed to be Larry Hulser, another young American, but DiBernardo has been the man who has produced.
Hulser has played very little, and of course he was Rookie of the Year last year.
That's right. We do have Ricky Davis in for Eskandarian. Yes, he's on the field now, and Wiegand for Jamari for Fort Lauderdale. The Cosmos on the move, leading 1-0. 32 minutes, 45 seconds remaining to be played in regular time. Look out, there's Canaglia, but again, Fogarty knocked it away. Boy, I'll tell you.
He's doing a good job on Canaglia. There's no doubt about it, because those are the sort of crosses from Van der Elst which Canaglia has been tucking away for goals all season.
The way he's going, he would certainly have to be considered for most valuable player. Here comes Kubias. He hasn't really had a chance today. Back to Schoenmaker to Kubias, and not quite. Out came the goalie just in time.
Well, there was an offside call on the play, but it was a very close one indeed. Kubias so quick to dart through there. He gave the ball, he ran like a flash, and he was there, but he just, you can see him, now he's breaking, he's offside there just as the ball is played. And Ricky Davis trailing the play with his hand up there was quite right, he was offside. Nevertheless, a good save from Bergenmeyer, who hadn't got time to stop and think, is he offside or not? He's got to make the save.
Okay, Fort Lauderdale trailing by 1. Trying to get it going. Kubias again with the ball. He's got Voslander on the right. To Voslander. Lost to DiBernardo. Cabanas now to Bogey. And the Cosmos have possession again with 31 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in regular time. A little Cacciatore just chasing Weisbergen, who could kill him at a blow, I think. Weisbergen, the hardest, toughest man on the Cosmos team. Cacciatore, 5-2.
This is Weigand. We haven't seen him before with the ball. They're doing a good job on Cabanas. They're getting the ball away from him. And there is that pigeon on the field again. Bogey's staring at him, wondering what it's all about.
There's Kubias.
Now you can see you can see Bergenmeyer's taking his lumps there, even though the play was dead there. I'm very worried about this pigeon wandering about on the field here. It doesn't seem to take off. Jeff Durgan's already put it off once, but it's back on there again.
There is the pigeon in the grass. Alas, alas, with apologies to Gertrude Stein.
It is. I mean, stupid as it may seem to say, it is in danger. Unidentified pigeon.
Okay. Well, no pigeons for the Cosmos at Fort Lauderdale proved to be today. They trail 1-0, but they're still in the ball game, and there's a long pass toward Kubias. Kubias running for the ball, but it is headed away by Jeff Durgan. Cosmos take over. 30 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in regular time. There's Durgan, Rookie of the Year, out of Tacoma, Washington. Playing alongside most of the season, the great Carlos Alberto, today playing alongside the great Franz Beckenbauer. Canaglia has the ball, not for long.
August took care of it that time.
Yeah. Ray Hudson now, the captain of strikers.
And we did see Beckenbauer going up. He went a long way upfield on attack last time.
Little Cacciatore, who just passed the ball, by the way, is not only 5'2", he only weighs 125 pounds. He's not short and stocky. He's short and slender. Colin Fowles now with the ball into the middle. Nobody there. Went to Romero. Ricky Davis now.
Rather sad sign of how things are not going for Lauderdale's way at the moment, because there was a promising pass from Hudson, 2 fouls, a good run into the area, but the final pass was just, there was nobody for Lauderdale shirt anywhere near the pass.
Ricky Davis puts the ball over on the right wing to Romero. Romero far across. No, that was nowhere. That'll be a goal kick for Fort Lauderdale. There is their coach, Cor van der Hart. They trail 1-0. Fort Lauderdale on the attack, trailing 1-0. Fight for the ball. Bogicevic almost got it away from little Cacciatore, but we have a whistle and a player down on the field. Can't see that number as yet. Cosmos, could be Ricebergen. Can't see it.
I think it is Ricebergen, yeah.
Can you see the blonde hair there? Vim Ricebergen, the defender, yes. Down, Ricebergen, 28-year-old Dutchman, 6 feet tall, 155 pounds. Soccer player do not tend to be heavy, but he is hard. And when he goes down, you know he was hit. Okay, injury time called with 28 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in regulation time, and you see the score. We'll be right back. Back again live. It looks like we're just about ready to go after injury time here. We'll have another look at that. Cosmos leading 1-0. Here is Ricebergen going down.
Well, Ricebergen, I think, got trodden on there, because it doesn't seem to me. Yeah, I think he's trodden on the left shoulder there as Kubias tries to jump over him. It didn't seem that they were dealing with his legs or his feet at all there.
And who had the ball there? Ricebergen, of course, but he's lost it now to Voslander.
He's got no support.
The striker takes a shot, nicely saved.
But the worrying thing for Fort Lauderdale is that Voslander broke through on his own there, and he had absolutely no support there at all. The nearest player was Kubias, way over on the other side of the penalty area, and not even in the penalty area yet. He had to do that on his own.
It was not that difficult to save, really, for Birkenmeyer.
No, it wasn't, because even if he'd let it go, there was nobody there, or if he bobbled it, there was nobody there to run in and scoop it into the net.
Fort Lauderdale trailing by a goal. Their captain, Ray Hudson, with the ball, calling for Voslander to come out, I think, from the penalty area. Now he's looking who wants the ball. Where are we? Why don't we get going? There's Kubias with it. Back to Hudson again. That's the best combination. Haven't been able to make it work today.
And again, attack breaking down, and the Cosmos, as I said before, very, very dangerous on breakaways.
Canaglia now running for the ball. And Fogarty kicked it away momentarily, but now
Push for
Cabanas.
there, surely.
And now Wiegand, but there's going to be a free kick for Cosmos.
As he went for that ball with Cabanas, he clearly pushed Cabanas off the ball.
Now Canaglia, this time, for the moment, being marked by Wiegand, but as he moves into the middle, Fogarty will pick him up, and does. That's Cabanas with the ball, number 19 for New York. Back out to Romero, his fellow Paraguayan. Now the Dutchman, Ricebergen, doesn't seem to be injured now. Beckenbauer, number 6. Bogie, the Yugoslav. Now to the midfielder. Canaglia, and nothing developed. Cabanas again, and a whistle.
Rather clever handball to control the ball there with his hand down by his left knee, but the referee spotted that one.
So Fort Lauderdale takes over. Fogarty putting the ball in play with 26 minutes, 45 seconds of regular time remaining. The Cosmos leading by 1-0 in SoccerBowl 80. And there it goes over the sideline. It'll be a throw in for Fort Lauderdale. Taking it is Voslander. So down into the striker position goes Cacciatore, little fellow all by himself, and here's the ball coming to him as he comes out from the penalty area to the 35-yard line. Now over to Schoenmacher, who was very much in the game in the first half, not so much on the attack in the second half. Hudson now, past Kubias, kicked away by DiBernardo.
A lot of these passes from Hudson and Kubias going astray up front there, and of course there's inexperience up front there. Now there's Voslander and there's Cacciatore, who however much they may hustle or however much they may try, they do not have the timing and experience of players like Gerd Muller, and of course the missing Francisco Marinho.
Bernd Lundqvist always keeping us right up to date on his unofficial temperature on the field. We know it's warm down there, but he says it's 99 degrees now in the field. Humidity still 75% or more. Here comes Fort Lauderdale. And they still could get something here. Watch Ray Hudson with the ball. He's got Schoenmacher in the middle.
Now he thinks he was obstructed by Bogie, but the referee says, no, you weren't. It'll be a free goal kick.
There's Ray Hudson, captain of the Strikers, and there is Bogie. The score is New York 1, Fort Lauderdale nothing. The score remains 1-0 at RFK Stadium in Washington as the Cosmos move on to the attack. They lead in SoccerBowl 80. The ball to Canaglia. Fogarty takes it away from him yet again. When they're considering most valuable player today, they'll have to consider Fogarty.
Oh, yes. He so far, you know, with Canale, as we said at the head of the program, you never know. He'd still break loose for a goal or two here. But Fogarty's done a marvellous job in so far. Now, that's one of the few fouls that Jeff Durgan himself has committed this afternoon. He's been more sinned against than sinning this afternoon.
And he can be rugged.
And there's that pigeon again.
There is the coach and the assistant coach, Rice Fowler and Terry Garber. Down to the lonely Weislander, and
He's been called offside.
Offside. Did not have two defenders between him and the goal when the ball was passed to him. So it's Cosmos. There's Jeff Durgan. He's big. Is number 25, 6 feet 175 pounds. Very much an American style athlete. Arthur Buchanaya with the ball. He's still. Nope, can't keep it.
No, he got away from Fogarty, but of course they're so conscious of him, and Potts was on him like a flash. And he was the one who kicked the ball away that time.
Romero. Now, Cabañas back out to Canale again. Fogarty right in front of him. The give and go. But it was the give. He went, and it wasn't there. Fogarty has the ball yet again. Gives it to Colin Powell. Now to Wiegand, the substitute who came into the game, who hasn't played since way back in July 13th against Edmonton, his last game. He's been out, injured. Wiegand, an American, gets the ball. Now to Schermacher. He likes to shoot, although midfielder, he may have a shot. And the ball is saved by Birkenbauer.
Great save by Birkenbauer. And again, Schermacher with his clumsy, long striding style of his doesn't look as though he's going to catch up with the ball, but he did on both occasions there, and he got to it before Birkenbauer. You see him getting past Beckenbauer there, which is no easy feat. He catches up with his ball, gets his foot on it. One beautiful save by Birkenbauer. Can't praise that one enough, because otherwise Schermacher was in the clear and probably a goal there.
Back to the live action. That's Canayo way over near the far sideline with the ball now. Not an accustomed position for him. Fogarty still all over him, marking him every minute of the way. 90 minutes of playing time, but not ever yet.
There you are. He gets past Fogarty, but it's right behind him.
Well, you can see Giorgio is really getting edgy. He wants a goal.
Giorgio's getting a lot more of the ball lately, certainly.
He says things like, "I live for goals," and he really does. Hasn't had a smell of one today. Now, Cabañas, the 19-year-old, with Bogey there, gives it to Bogey. Let him set it up. Bogey sets things up rather slowly sometimes. Some people don't like that.
Now, when you say some people, are you referring to me?
Yes,
I see.
You don't like that, do you?
No, I don't. I think it costs the Cosmos. I think it slows them down against teams which are already inclined to be a bit defensive against them.
Okay, here's Ray Hudson, captain of the Strikers. They trail 1-0. One thing we did not expect to see here today was a 1-0 game. Well, still quite a ways to go. There comes the ball in towards Boston. Stopped by Romero.
Well, you see, Romero, a midfielder, back there defending, and the Cosmos, of course, can afford this luxury now because this scoreline is Romero back there defending and defending rather crudely.
The ultra-speedy Fowles thought that he was fouled.
He was fouled.
And let's see. I think they are going to get the free kick.
The referee is talking, saying something to him.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a free kick. You couldn't tell with a free kick or a throw-in for a moment.
Romero clearly fouled it.
All right, now, it's Ray Hudson putting the ball in play. Voslander is in the middle, just outside the penalty area. And he's got Kubias a little further on the far side, inside the penalty area. Little Cacciatore also in the penalty area on the far side. He lost it straight towards the middle. Kubias comes in, but there is Birkenmeier right out to grab the ball.
Oh, it was a good-looking play. If that had been, say, a yard or two further away from the goalkeeper, Birkenmeier might have thought twice about coming for it because he might not have got to it. And the big left-back, August, who of course is good in the air because he's so tall, was coming in for that. So it wasn't a bad-looking play, though.
21 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in regular time. Cosmos 1, Fort Lauderdale 0. Romero to Van der Elst, the Belgian. Back to Beckenbauer, the great German star. On the right wing to Di Bernardo, the American. All the way across to the Paraguayan teenager, Cabañas. Now to the Dutchman. So many nationalities here. To Canale. Canale takes a shot. Knocked away, but just barely by Van Beveren that time. I think his view was blocked.
You see, those are the sort of shots that have been going in for Canale because that may not look like the best shot in the world, but it comes so quickly, no wind-up from Canale at all. So quickly, so hard, so low, and out of a crowd of players. And the goalkeeper has got to see all that, and he's got to see it instantly. You'll see Canale just one little move of the foot and then bang, through the player's legs. It's bouncing. Van Beveren down very quickly, not quite killing the ball, but enough to ensure that he doesn't go back to Canale.
All right, Hudson with the ball on the far side. In the middle is Voslander. Nope. Rice Ricebergen knocked it away, and Ricky Davis takes it. Gives it back to Ricebergen, who looks far from injured right now. He was down a while ago. Ricebergen, Canalia in the middle, loping toward the penalty area. Back to Ricky Davis. Davis to Canalia. Canalia turns, looks for the opening. Fogarty's there, but there's the shot. It's a goal for Canalia. He finally got that fraction of a second. He finally got those few inches of an opening. And always with the deadly shot, Giorgio Canalia has scored his 49th goal of the year, his 17th in the playoffs. Cosmos 2-0.
We just finished describing the sort of shot that Canalia has been scoring on, and Van Beveren had saved it, and then we get almost a replay of that. The same sort of shot, this time closer to the post, more quickly taken, and Van Beveren beaten.
Another look. Here's Ricky Davis.
You see Ricky Davis. Canalia allowed time to turn here. He's got his back half to the goal, and he turns on the ball, which is a mistake. And here it is, and it's a left-foot shot, unusual. And you can see it's between Van Beveren and the post there. Beautifully placed. We'll see it from Van Beveren's point of view here now. There it comes, inside that defender. Well, you can't ask for a better place shot than that, and of course keeping them low is always an extra added attraction.
And so the New York Cosmos move closer to their 4th championship of the North American Soccer League as they lead 2-0 on a goal by Giorgio Canalia at 70 minutes and 6 seconds of playing time, assisted by Ricky Davis and Vin Ricebergen. Here comes Fort Lauderdale. Meant for Ray Hudson, no chance. Tobias chasing the ball over the sideline. From DiBernardo, it'll be a throw-in for Fort Lauderdale. They're down 2-0. They have just under 19 minutes remaining. It couldn't be tougher. There's a good look at Teofilo Cubillas, and here again a look at the goal.
This is Canalia's got. You can see he's got more space. He's got time to turn around on that ball. And Fogarty doesn't expect him, I think, to go that way, because most of Canalia's moves are the other way, where he could get the ball on his right. He crossed him up, went to put it on his left foot, and hit it perfect.
Okay, Fort Lauderdale losing the ball again. They're looking a little tired right now. Remember, the temperature almost 100 degrees on the playing field. High humidity. Very difficult playing condition. The field itself in beautiful condition over real grass. Here comes Giorgio again. Past his man. He got past Fogarty. Fogarty may be getting a little tired with that bad ankle. And it was Wiegand who came in to stop him.
Yeah, Wiegand certainly saved what looked like a certain goal there, in fact.
Fogarty looking tired at the moment. The Cosmos lead. 2-0. Soccer Bowl 80 will continue after station identification.
They didn't.
Back again live. The Cosmos still leading 2-0 in Soccer Bowl 80. Jim McKay with Paul Gardner and Vern Lundquist. Doug Wilson in the pilot seat in the control truck today. Bob Goodrich, who's produced our series regularly, is doing Monday Night Football tomorrow night, but I know where he is now. He's set side. Craig Janoff, our director, as always. Larry Cavallina, associate director, and all the crew here today for Soccer Ball. Here comes Romero with the ball for the Cosmos. Getting it in through the penalty area to Van der Elst, back out to Cabañas. Cabañas to Romero. Bogey. And Fort Lauderdale takes over. 16.5 minutes remaining in regular time. They're down by 2 as Colin Fowles brings the ball up. Moves it back to Ray Hudson, the captain of Fort Lauderdale. And that went astray right into the chest of Ricebergen. Now Romero. Baseball coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern time today on most of these ABC stations. Either Cincinnati Reds at Los Angeles Dodgers, that's a big one, or the Houston Astros at San Francisco Giants. Both important games in that National League West pennant race. 3 o'clock over most of these ABC stations, local time, right after the soccer. There's a shot by Romero again. Canalia almost got to the ball, but not quite. And Auguste clears it over to Colin Fowles. Another look at Canalia's goal.
And we see Canalia on the edge of the area, as I say, with all that space and room to turn, defenders in front of him, and this left-footed shot so beautifully placed, because he was moving the other way. Maybe Van Beveren was leaning a bit the other way, because that's where most of the goal was.
15.5 minutes now remaining to play. Ray Hudson with the ball. Gets it into little Cacciatore. Cacciatore has fouled, but couldn't get it past Beckenbauer that time. As you said, Franz playing the sweeper role very well, but almost exclusively on defense.
Yeah, he hasn't been very adventurous at all. It's a little surprising at this stage of the game, with a 2-0 lead, and only 15 minutes to go at the end. He isn't anything further forward. Of course, the professional coach, and heavens knows, I use that word in the modern sense of the word, Weisweiler is a professional coach, will say 2-0, this is our game now. If we give up a goal now, we ought to be shocked. We're going to protect these 2 goals.
There's Van der Hart. Pretty hard to think of a tactic now. Just go, men.
Well, there's not much he can do, really, because he's got 2 players who can create plays in midfield, but they need support up front, and of course Fowles has moved up front a bit, but with the inexperience of Cacciatore and Ruslander up front, there's really not much that Hudson and Tobias can do without their help.
DiBernardo into the middle towards Canaglia, who hits it, but it comes back out again. Romero has the ball. Very deliberate now, a sort of soccer version of the 4-corner offense. With 14 minutes, 15 seconds remaining. That's a long time to stall, of course, but you just slow it down. Use all the time that you can. The attendance today, we said they're hoping for 50,768. A fine turnout in Washington, D.C. to watch 2 teams from the New York, New Jersey area and from Florida play it out for the North American Soccer League Championship. And by the way, again, this game is being seen live in a number of countries around the world, in Europe and in South America, on tape delay in yet more countries. It's become a matter of international attention, which it wasn't for many years. It was kind of an incidental thing. A goal kick for Fort Lauderdale. They trail 2-0. The action live, the score, Cosmos 2-0 over Fort Lauderdale. SoccerBowl 80 in the white, the Cosmos. That's Beckenbauer with the ball to Romero. To Beckenbauer again. Canaglia is right there. The shot by Beckenbauer off a defender, off John Pott. And Fort Lauderdale takes over. Nini Kubias with the ball, being chased by Van der Elst. And there's Ricky Davis taking the ball, getting it back to goalie Birkenmeyer.
I think when we look back at this game, if the scoreline remains the same as it is, the Tottenham score to win, one of the key things we're going to look at, and I felt it when I looked at it at the start of the game, was that the bench strength of Fort Lauderdale is simply not good enough. There's really nobody on that bench who can come on and do for you what a Ricky Davis could do for you, or what a Bruce Wilson could do for you, or heaven knows what a Carlos Alberto could do for you.
Yeah. Well, here comes Van der Elst right now. And Fogarty gets the ball. Looks like he might be limping a bit now. He is. That ankle is really bothering him. Played most of the game marvelously against Canaglia, but has definitely slowed down and begun to limp a little. There he is. But here come the strikers again. Still trying, and an opening for Schoenmacher, and the stop by Birkenmeyer.
Another great save by Birkenmeyer. Another one-handed save, and he gets a clock round the head in affection, of course, from Jeff Durgan. But beautifully stopped with one hand. Not just parried, but stopped, killed dead.
And of course, when the game is over,
stopped with one hand and pulled in with both.
Right. We'll also be looking back to the loss of Gerd Miller. That obviously hurt Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, well, that sort of, brought about the situation I was saying was so crucial.
Yeah.
Him going off. Now, who do we bring on? There isn't anybody there who can replace Gerd Miller.
Okay, over to Van der
look as
Elst.
though they're going to replace.
Well, Gust has marked Van der Elst very well today, too, by the way. Now, DiBernardo with the ball for the Cosmos. And that shot is very wide, I think, very wide.
Which you might call an ill-advised shot, that.
No question of that. 11 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. Giorgio Canaglia finally scored the goal that he wanted on this day most of all, to give the New York Cosmos a 2-0 lead over Fort Lauderdale in SoccerBowl 80. Fort Lauderdale now in the red and yellow cannot get anything going. Ricky Davis took the ball away from them that time. Ricebergen's down holding his head again.
Oh, he's getting a lot of clocking around the head here.
Let's have another look at Giorgio's goal while we have injury time here.
Well before the goal. You see him trotting downfield, looking around, seeing where the ball's coming, turning his back to the goal. Here comes the ball. Now then, he knows that Fogarty is not tight on him. He knows he's got time to turn. One step to his left, which I think crossed Fogarty up, and then a shot to Beveren's left, in other words, to Canaglia's right, which I think crossed Van Beveren up. But those are the hallmarks, of course, of a great goal scorer, to do the unexpected, to do it effectively, and to do it quickly.
Ricebergen with the magic ice pack. There is Pele down on the field. It's even warm watching, isn't it, Pele? 2-0 New York.
Like beer?
Back again live, where injury time is just about over again for Wim Ricebergen. 10 minutes, 45 seconds exactly remaining on the unofficial clock. There's Ricebergen there. There's sideline with Coach Van der Hart of Fort Lauderdale. Boy, he brought them a long way. They've had a lot of injuries this year. They have had controversy within themselves. There's Mike Ortiz-Velez coming in for Jeff Cacciatore. Well, Jeff finally getting tired.
Yeah, I suppose simply to get a pair of fresh legs in there, because Jeff has done very creditably. You've got somebody who came straight out of college at the end of last season, somebody who most coaches in this league, and I spoke to a lot of them down at the college draft, said, well, he had a great game in the college final, but we're not going to draft him because he's too small. In fact, proved that a small player can stay in there with the big players.
And in for the small player is Mike Ortiz-Velez, who isn't too big. He's 5'8", 155, 22-year-old American. Okay, Vern has little Cacciatore. Vern?
Jeff, I just thought you played a sensational game today, but obviously you apparently beginning to get dehydrated.
Yeah, his heat's gotten to me. I felt a little dizzy coming out first half. And I don't know, I just was feeling dizzy and I couldn't go anymore.
Well, it must be a big thrill for you, even though your team is down 2-0. Congratulations to you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Jeff Cacciatore, Jim.
Can't imagine why he got tired with the temperature only 99 degrees on the playing field, humidity 75 or 80%. Even Canaglia looks a little drained at this point with 9 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in regular time. Cosmos 2-0.
Of course, Jeff is the sort of player who might get tired, I suppose, because he's so busy. He does so much running around. I mean, we're not obviously picking it all up, but all the time he's on the field, he's moving, he's thinking, he's a bundle of nervous energy.
There is DiBernardo. In fact, Americans quite prominent in this game today, Paul.
Well, we think Jeff Durgan has been playing a very quiet game back there, but he's done everything that he's had to do, except possibly the one mistake when he let Varslander get behind him and Birkenmeyer repaired the damage there. Other than that, he's played a very solid game indeed.
There's another young American, Ricky Davis, number 17, to Weisbergen. DiBernardo getting it back to Davis again. New York has had 21 shots now to Fort Lauderdale's 13. There it is. Okay. 8 minutes, 45 seconds remaining. Fort Lauderdale 2 goals down. The Cosmos with the ball. That's known as having your back to the wall. Over to Durgan. 6-1. And at age 19, we should be hearing about him for at least another decade and a half.
Yeah, I'm going to draw the contrast between, there was a story in one of the local papers this morning, Jeff Durgan had done well, and heaven knows he has done well this season. And this was the future of soccer because Americans were big and that the future of soccer was in big players. Well, of course, the writer of that story obviously hadn't heard about Jeff Cacciatore. It is a nonsense to say that we're going to produce only big players in this country. We're going to produce good players. Some of them are going to be big, like Jeff Durgan, and some of them are going to be small, like Jeff Cacciatore.
There goes Cabañas, still in control of the ball. Over to Canaglia. Canaglia's shot hit the post. That would have been his 50th goal of the year, which is very much like 60 home runs in baseball. Or
clasping
like
his head. Funnily enough, we've seen a lot of Canaglia clasping his head this season. If all the nearlies, the ifs, the mights, the should-haves, and all the rest of it had gone in this season, he'd have about 2,000 goals, I think.
He sure had the shot, but it just hit the post. 7 minutes, 35
seconds. He had the shot on a beautiful feed from Cabañas on the left here.
This, by the way, is the final North American Soccer League game, it appears, for Franz Beckenbauer. He's going back to Germany next season. There's Vaslander, the Red Ghost, as they call him.
Well, let's take a look at it. Here's Cabañas' feet, and Canaglia all alone. Nobody between him and the goal. Looks up, sees his spot, wants it to go there. Gets it past Van Beveren, who's trying to play the ball with his foot, and thumps it against the post.
Another look.
This is Canaglia. Now look, you can see where he's going to put the ball. Right foot to Van Beveren's right, gets it past him. So finely placed, in fact, too finely placed. 2 or 3 inches in further, and that must have been a goal.
Mentioned as Beckenbauer's last NASL game. They are, however, going to have a farewell game for him, an unofficial game, of course. The Cosmos going against a team of all-stars, a select team from the North American Soccer League. And playing for the Cosmos is going to be, would you imagine, Pelé? Well, it's true. That's on Wednesday, Wednesday night, Giant Stadium in New York. Here come the Cosmos again, and Van Beveren picks it off.
Of course, he's not retiring because he's going back to play in Germany.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people feel might be a mistake, that he might not be able to cope with the pace of German soccer. Franz Beckenbauer, very honest as usual about it, says, well, we'll have to see.
That's right. Certainly the caliber of play in this league has improved tremendously in the last 2 or 3 years, and even this year.
Yes, it has. And of course, that's what Franz, I think, thinks, but a lot of the critics are European, and they're saying he can't do it.
Shot by Cabañas.
Tremendous save by Van Beveren. A beautiful shot on the run. Really one of the best pieces of soccer we've seen this afternoon. Cabañas picking up a ball deep, turning, putting his head down, running with determination towards the goal, striking a beautiful shot and a marvelously athletic save from Van Beveren.
Still 2-0, 5 minutes, 45 seconds left. Fort Lauderdale looking all but hopeless on the attack now, not only with Mueller out with an injury, remember, their star striker, but even little Cacciatore, the left winger that played so well, now out dehydrated from the tremendous heat and humidity here this afternoon. So, corner kick for the Cosmos. Kicked away by Schoenmacher.
Lazy little corner kick from Bogey.
Yeah.
Straight to an opponent.
Van der Elst now. Back to Bogey. Back to Van der Elst. Back to Bogey.
Bogey, I would have thought, might have been offside on that.
And save by
Great save from Van Beveren. You've really got to do marvelous things to get the ball past Van Beveren. The Cosmos have done it twice.
Young Ortiz Velez with the ball. Baseball coming up on most of these ABC stations, remember. You'll either have the Reds in Los Angeles or Houston and San Francisco. Both key games in the race for the National League West Championship. Playoffs coming up later on ABC. There is a pass to the right side that's almost opening something to Ortiz Velez.
Franz Beckenbauer showing no signs of tiredness and indeed showing every desire to hustle and get that ball away. He failed. It is a corner kick to Fort Lauderdale, but Franz, he just didn't let that go. He tried to get it back.
4:35 unofficially to go. In the second half, New York's had 14 shots on goal to 5 for Fort Lauderdale. That tells you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think
it doesn't always, but in this case it does.
In this case it does. It's a fair reflection of the game.
Okay, number 21, Rick Wiegand there. In the United States. Look at the crowd, more than 50,000, part of the crowd. Bogicevic with the ball now. Here come the Cosmos with their 2-0 lead. Ricky Davis with Auguste, and down they both go. Auguste gets up, has the ball. Play goes on.
Yeah, it was a good tackle by Auguste. Yep. He got his foot over the ball and sort of back-heeled it away from Ricky Davis.
Fort Lauderdale. Tobias is marked closely, so he can't get the ball to him. And he loses it, just flat loses it to DiBernardo. Does Colin Fowles. 3.5 minutes left in the game. Here's Romero with the ball. Canaglia moves out from the penalty area this time. Over to Van der Elst. Cabañas is in the penalty area. There he is. Oh, lets it go by for Canaglia, but Fogarty came out and took it.
It was a good idea from Cabañas, but maybe a little bit of inexperience. He should have known that Canaglia wasn't as close as that Fogarty was in a position to intercept that ball. But that business of stepping over the ball and allowing it to run can be very tricky. Here comes Beckenbauer upfield at last.
Just 3 minutes remaining now. The Cosmos with the ball. Here comes Canaglia again. Knocked away by the goalie Van Beveren. The header in by Cabañas, and the goal by Canaglia. His 50th goal of the year. His 18th in 7 games of the playoffs. One of the great athletes of the sports world in the United States, Giorgio Canaglia. And he's an American citizen now, by the way.
Well, again, he's going to have to give a lot of thanks to Cabañas on that goal as well, because his first shot was well saved by Van Beveren. It went up in the air, it came out, and up in the air left Cabañas to head it back. Beckenbauer made this with a long run through the middle. Now, Canaglia has the shot here, gets it off, blocked by Van Beveren, way up in the air. Now watch Cabañas go up, and he puts it back. A nice trap on his thigh by Canaglia, a turn, and well, I think it would have taken a steel wall to stop that one.
Isolation.
Canaglia running for the ball, takes it with his left, hits it with his right. Van Beveren right there to block it. Cabañas for the rebound. A trap and a quick turn. In fact, Van Beveren is still sitting on the ground down there.
And now with just
what he's got to do.
Just under 2 minutes to go. It's 3-0 Cosmos. At 87:07, Giorgio Canaglia scored his second goal of the game, his 18th of the playoffs, with an assist by Cabañas. Here it is again.
We're watching that shot blocked way up in the air. This header back through to Canaglia from Cabañas, and this quick turn on this thundering shot. Beveren hadn't even had time to get on his feet.
Okay, it was Bogey with the ball for a moment, kicked away by Fowles. Well, it's all over. 1.5 minutes to go. Nobody's going to score 3 goals against Franz Beckenbauer, Jeff Durgan and company in 1.5 minutes.
It's really doing well.
What was that?
Arrogant little piece of play there, rather unnecessary, I would have thought.
Showing off just a bit, heading the ball back and forth.
Well played by Jeff Durgan on the right there.
Yep. Down to Julio Cesar Romero, Little Caesar from Paraguay. Cabañas in the middle. Here's Bogey, and Canaglia with another shot right at the goal.
Well, you can see just how quickly and accurately those shots come in from Canaglia there. One step forward, a solid right foot shot, but perfect positioning from Van Beveren.
Giorgio truly is insatiable when it comes to scoring goals.
Well, actually, he's had a poor game. He's only scored 2 goals. His record in the playoffs is nearly 3 a game, so
that's right.
Something wrong here.
Man down, is that
I think it's Cabañas.
No, it's Cabañas, the other Paraguayan player. There's Van der Hart. He knows it's over. It's 3-0, the Cosmos, with 33 seconds left. We're back again at RFK Stadium in Washington. Giorgio Canaglia has scored 2 of the 3 goals for the New York Cosmos. Beginning to acknowledge the cheers of his fans now. There's Weisfowler, the coach, with a quiet smile about the whole situation. And well, he might. He's done a great job this year. Cosmos flags flying high. They've all come down from New York, more than 8,000 strong.
A lot of people down from New York.
Free kick is right at the goalie.
Marvelous save from Van Beveren. Well, he's made his share of good saves this afternoon, but it just hasn't been enough. The Cosmos have simply been too powerful.
It's almost over. 20 seconds to go as the unofficial clock continues to run. Throw in for Fort Lauderdale. Can they get even a goal? It doesn't look likely. Well, here it is in the middle to Schoenmacher. Schoenmacher looking for somebody, anybody, so he takes a shot that really has little direction or reason as the clock runs out. It's all over. The New York Cosmos have won their 4th championship of the North American Soccer League by a score of 3-0 over the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Coach Cor van der Hart, disappointed man. Giorgio Canaglia with 50 goals for the year. He has achieved every goal he could conceivably have set for himself this season. Hubert Birkenmeier has played a marvelous game in goal. Giorgio again. There's a wide look. The crowd of more than 50,000 looking on here in RFK Stadium. Yet to come the presentation. We may have time. I think we will have time for some of that.
I'll tell you, Jim, I think we're going to have the problems we had last year when apparently the wrong team receives the trophy because they changed shirts and it looks as though they're giving it to the wrong team. League instructions were don't change shirts before the ceremony, but they are changing shirts now.
Okay, well, why don't we take a break? There is more to come here at RFK in Washington. Back again, the Cosmos having defeated Fort Lauderdale 3-0. I hope we will have time for some of the post-game ceremonies here because ceremonies after the game are a much bigger thing in world soccer than they are in most American sport. The victory lap, for example. There's Vern Lundquist down talking with Giorgio Canaglia for a moment. Talked to him live before the game. And, Paul, what can you say? The playoff records and perhaps the season records of this man won't be equaled for a long time. 50 goals for the year for Giorgio Canaglia. 18 in the playoffs, 7 in one game, and 2 today.
It's absolutely remarkable. I mean, there's no other that I've seen in any other league in the world, and certainly Canaglia hasn't done it in any other league in the world to that extent. He's just absolutely dominated all the goal-scoring records over the last 3. I mean, even last year, when he didn't win the scoring title, in my opinion, he won it because he scored more goals than Fabiani, not counting assists.
Let's see what Giorgio thinks about it, Vern.
Okay, Jim, I've got Giorgio right here. Exhausted but thrilled, I'll bet.
Yes, so we worked very hard this season to win this championship, and I'm very, very thrilled and very, very happy.
You know what reminded me in this game was the job that Steve Petcher of Dallas did on you in the first game down there. You were almost quiet throughout the entire game. Ken Fogarty was superb, and then bingo, here you go.
Yeah, then I scored 2 goals, which were very important. I hit the post, but the most important thing is that we won.
You got 50 for the year, George. How do you top it?
Not bad.
Not
we'll
bad.
try again next year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Giorgio. Giorgio, one more word. We just got word that you've been selected most valuable player. Your reaction?
Oh, I'm very thrilled and very happy. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, George. Jim?
Okay, thanks very much. Vern Lundquist on the sidelines with Giorgio Canaglia, the most valuable player, an obvious selection in SoccerBowl 80. Still waiting for the closing ceremonies, for the award of the trophy, and for the victory lap. So let's take another break. Again, the Cosmos have won the game 3-0. Oddly enough, there were still some doubters about Giorgio Canaglia's status as one of the game's great stars when this season began. There always were doubters. Some people said, well, he's slow, he lopes, he can't head the ball. He's convinced them all this season, no question. There is the trophy. There's going to be a trophy awarded to Fort Lauderdale first as the champions of the American Conference. There's Captain Ray Hudson. It's second place, but a lot of work went into winning that championship of the American Conference. Regular season, they were second in their division, went on to win in the playoffs. Lost every one of their games at home and won every game away. When I say every game, I mean the full-length games, because they had to come back then to win either mini games or shootouts.
Well, they did it completely backwards, in other words.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do it the other way around. Lose the away game, win at home. They did it the wrong way around. Then had to scramble through on mini games and shootouts, but they did it, and they got here.
Okay, next we're going to have the MVP of the game and of the playoffs, and then the awarding of the trophy to the Cosmos and the victory lap. We're going to take one more break, then we'll be back for that in Washington. Well, the announcement's been made to the crowd now that Giorgio Canaglia is, in fact, as he had to be, the most valuable player in Soccer Bowl 80 and the most valuable player in the playoffs. Giorgio going to take his own little victory lap here. Okay, the New York Cosmos have their trophy. The champions of the North American Soccer League. And a great tradition of soccer is the victory lap. In whatever country the national championship is won, or in the World Cup, the victory lap is to share the spoils with your fans. Well, they came down 8,000 and more strong to join the crowd of 50,000 here in Washington, did the Cosmos fans. They lost last year in the National Conference Final to the eventual champions, the Vancouver Whitecaps. This year they come back to regain the title they won in 1977 and 1978. The Cosmos of New York. Join us Monday night for ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. The New York Giants against the Philadelphia Eagles at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Today's game was produced by Doug Wilson and directed by Craig Janoff. Our technical director, Les White. Associate director, Larry Cavallina. This is Jim McKay with Paul Gardner and Vern Lundquist in Washington. We'll be coming back here. We're doing our credits right now. Be sure and stay tuned, by the way, for ABC's Sunday afternoon baseball next today, featuring the Cincinnati Reds against the Los Angeles Dodgers or the Houston Astros against the San Francisco Giants. Check the local listings for the time and the game in your area. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been an ABC Sports presentation.